Hello everybody, welcome to my part 2 of the of the Sam Raimi Spider-Man trilogy review. And we did 1 and 2 in the first two parts. They scored 8.5 and 9.5 respectively. And we're talking about Spider-Man 3 now, and I have a lot to say about this movie. In this movie, we get Topher Grace as Venom, James Franco as Harry Osborn, New Goblin still, and I think Thomas Hayden Church, correct me if I'm wrong, as the Sandman. And it really does feel like they have too much crammed into this movie. But, oh well, what are you gonna do? This movie has a running time of 139 minutes, thus making it the longest in the trilogy. And along with every other movie in the trilogy, it is rated PG-13. And I saw all of them before I turned 13. Don't tell anybody. It's okay, I'm not allowed to watch R-rated movies, so I guess it evens out. And I'm in high school, just so you know. I'm not saying which one. And Peter Parker's life at the beginning of this one is kind of evened out. He manages to balance his Spider-Man and Peter Parker lives. Bees with Mary Jane, who kinda left John Jameson at the altar in the second movie. I know I didn't mention that, but if you love someone enough to marry them and then you're ditching them to Peter Parker the nerd, you're an odd person. I mean, come on, the dude's an astronaut. Astronauts are epic. Especially since NASA canceled their space programs. Jerks! This may be a little off topic, but post in the comments if, when you were a kid, you wanted to be an astronaut. I did. But now my dreams are crushed. Screw you, NASA. But Peter Parker's life is kind of turned upside down when he runs into the alien symbiote and he gets the black suit. And this is where a lot of people jump off the I like this movie bandwagon, because there's the emo scene when he has emo hair and he's walking down the street pointing at people, and a lot of people say this, and I agree with them. I do not want to laugh at Black Suit Spider-Man, because you don't know when he's going to snap and break your spine. And the symbiote logic of when he decides to get rid of it is broken too. He tries to kill Sandman, think he did, and doesn't get rid of the black suit. Tries to kill Harry, thinks he did, but he didn't, of course, duh. And doesn't get rid of the black suit. Accidentally hits Mary Jane, gets rid of the black suit. Nice job, Peter. But they really did try to have the makings of a good Spider-Man movie in here. They tried to have sympathetic villains, which is why they had the Sandman sob story about his daughter, but honestly, I think this movie would be way better if they got rid of the time taken up by Sandman. Because that's a big movie, that's a big problem this movie has, is that it tries to cram a whole bunch of villains into this, but the other movie that I know of that crammed 3 villains into there was 2 hours and 55 minutes long, and I'm talking about The Dark Knight Rises. Spoilers, there are 3 villains. I'm not going to name their names. I'm going to wait till it comes out on DVD. You'll just have to wait. Along with the Avengers, I'll try to not review movies until they come out on DVD, just my policy, because if you haven't noticed, I am really bad at not revealing spoilers. And the black suit is really nice in my opinion, because it adds a lot of internal and external troubles within Spider-Man, because he has the people he's fighting and then the symbiote itself. But they really did it wrong. Anywho, I like the new Goblin in this. I realize that he's not goblin-y by any stretch of the imagination. I think it would have made more sense if they made him the Hobgoblin or something. But I guess he isn't quite as whacked out as his dad was. So, yeah, I'll take that, but isn't the whole Sealam thing is that it makes you loopy? And yeah, I use the word loopy a lot. I think I used it in my thoughts on the Venom movie, but I'm not posting that because not enough of the movie has been revealed for me to actually talk about it, but that'll be saved for another time. But once we get to describing all these villains, that's where we hit the movie's problem, which I've mentioned before. This was originally planned as a two-movie story. It was planned to be put out in two movies, so they had to dump a lot of stuff. So, yeah. And they dumped a lot of the subplots, so that sucked. But I believe that if they had done the two-movie story, this would be the best Spider-Man movie. Heck, if they took out the Sandman and developed the symbiote better and the new Goblin better, this would be the best Spider-Man movie. But they just had to cram the Sandman in. Heck, I would have been happy if you threw Venom out the window. I mean, I may be a big Venom fan, but I wouldn't care that much because I wouldn't have known. And as I mentioned before, the Black Suit logic is broken beyond every stretch of the imagination. And Mary Jane is really shallow in this movie. And stupid. I'll get into that later. But she is jealous of how popular Spider-Man is. Yeah, they finally stopped having the police chase him and people hating him, and she's jealous? And she doesn't even tell Peter Parker that she got let off of her job at the play, and then she gets mad at him like he's some kind of jerk because he doesn't know, and therefore he acts like he doesn't know. That's kind of mean. And the new Goblin gets amnesia, but that only serves the purpose of getting him out of the way for a bit to do everything else. And along with the fake death of the Sandman, that just serves for the purpose of getting him out of the way so they can do other stuff. Anywho, the part where the new Goblin threatens to kill Peter if she doesn't break up with him just to break his heart, he was really far away. He couldn't hear what they were saying. She could have said, Harry Osborn over there, he's kind of going crazy, and could you beat him up? He says if I don't break up with you, he's gonna kill you. So yeah. But no, she breaks up with him. And then on top of that, this whole thing could have been averted if Peter Parker actually told Mary Jane the whole thing that was going on between them, but he doesn't. And she has no idea that Harry's the new Goblin or that he blames Peter for his father's death, which I also find pretty stupid. I mean, it almost seems like these two aren't meant to be a couple if they can't communicate. And Peter is going to propose. Yay. Guess what? That doesn't happen because, as I said before, she's mad at him and the black suit turns his life upside down. Go figure. And then, along with the fact that Peter Parker didn't tell her about the Harry Osborn thing, she uses Harry as her rebound guy. I mean, Peter isn't any better because he was Gwen as his rebound girl, but come on, he had the black suit. He has an excuse. She doesn't. Wait, she does have an excuse. Called Peter didn't tell her. And due to the fact that the movie had so much going on, we didn't get to see much of Venom, and Venom's a really good villain. He was only there for the... I mean, it's almost like the movie producers had a checklist. Get Sandman in there so they have a relatable villain. Check. Finish up the character arc with Harry Osborn. Check. Get Venom in there at least in time for the final battle. Check. Because that's exactly what they did. Got him in there in time for the final battle. But the final battle action sequence with Venom is nice, I think. And Venom looks awesome when he actually has the face. But when he doesn't have the face, which is like 90% of the time, it kind of sucks. I don't get why he doesn't. I don't get why he peels the face back. Do the movie producers not have enough money in the computer graphics department because they spend it all on Sandman in the scene when he's having trouble forming himself together for the first time? Yeah, probably. And the music in this whole series, just gotta say, was really good. The only reason I'm mentioning it is because as soon as the symbiote gets involved in any scene, the music suddenly gets dark and threatening, which I found was a nice touch. And in the first movie, the music was done by Danny Elfman. In the second movie, it was done by Danny Elfman. In the third movie, it was done by, not Danny Elfman. It was done by Danny Elfman and Christopher Youngs. So I think that was a nice touch on their part. So, yeah, it's still a fun movie to watch because all the action's really well done. You just need to watch it a few times to pick up on all the plot points they're trying to sell you. So all in all, I am giving this a... Oh, and two other things. Sandman's the only villain that dies, and he just gets away, scot-free. Peter forgives him for killing his uncle, even though that totally slaughters the origin because it's no longer Peter's fault, but go figure. And on top of that, what do you think he's going to do once he gets away? He still needs money for his sick child. And Harry Osborn died after suddenly turning a good guy after his butler finally tells him after all this time that it was Norman Osborn's own fault that he died, that Norman Osborn died by his own hand. And I've got to say, Norman Osborn killing himself and the butler knowing this and not mentioning it until 2 minutes later while working for Harry Osborn as his butler the whole time. Alfred is a much nicer person. But after that, finding out Harry Osborn immediately becomes a good guy, sounding like a sidekick. Buddy, pal, literally all that stuff. And I found it was a little too sudden for me, but then again, this was meant to be 2 movies. And you really do have to keep that in mind. And they don't make it clear how addicted Brock was to the symbiote. So it kind of seems irrational as Eddie Brock commits suicide to jump back into the symbiote. But this is by far the worst movie in the trilogy. I'm giving it a 6 out of 10. See you guys next time.